And in the bottom left-hand corner from LFX, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time coming that he has returned, and he has been looking oh so good in these online cups. Now it's time to really prove it from Alpha X. It's classic.
And his opponent on the upper right-hand side of the map on Glittering Ashes, he is Ascendant from Team NB. It's Creator.
And the last PvP that I believe Classic played, if I'm not wrong, that I, in the qualifiers, actually did play against Zest, which ended up being quite the good best of 3, which Classic did end up winning. It was pretty close, though. It was pretty close. And I think Classic's PvP is something where, for the longest time, I think a lot of players have looked at Classic and said, wow, this guy just knows how to play Protoss. And he will execute extremely solid build orders. There's not gonna be anything super crazy. It's not gonna be insane all-ins, even though he is very, very capable of doing that and cheesing. But when he wants to play standard, he does it so well.
That he does. I mean, he doesn't know how to play Protoss Titan. He is Protoss. He is, yeah. He is the race incarnate, even as we do have other players carrying the torch trap for the last couple of years. Hero looking so damn good recently, Creator as well. I mean, PvP is its own beast. PvP is its own thing, and it's really interesting to see Creator going in to this single gate expand setup. That is not something that, well, we've seen a lot after the nerf to Void Rays and to shield batteries without a nexus. It has kind of felt like that's really not something that's holdable anymore, especially against the Koreans. In fact, only recently have we started to see Max Packs go for it again. So it's going to be interesting to see here. Is Creator going to be able to make this work? Does Classic just sledgehammer him with the build? I don't know. But for right now, no one's out. No one's able to take a natural anyways.
Yeah, we're having the harassment going down in Beo. I have a fun stat for you. How many PvPs do you think that Classic has played in the past 2 months?
Well, you know what? He's played in 40 online cups since the beginning of the year, so I'm gonna say 60.
That I think you're more closer to his total matches played, because he's played 25 Protoss versus Protosses in the past 2 months, and with that is sitting, I believe, at a 60% win rate. Considering that, has lost, I think, only really to Hero and Trap are the 2 players that he has dropped PvPs to consistently. And other than that, he's been trading back wins against players like Zest. He has managed to beat Creator a few times, and then actually did manage to beat Hero in another series.
Yeah, but consider this TitanOnFire. His opponent's Creator.
You're right. I didn't consider that. What am I thinking? I said it myself, the Creator diff, and I think that's really what we've been seeing, is the fact that this is a player who, even though maybe the stats don't show it right now because it's been such a sudden improvement, is looking extremely solid in his play style and is looking so good. And I don't think we can understate how good he looked in that PvP against Trap. That was just a completely different look for Creator that was nothing that we'd really ever seen before from him in this matchup. And so it's going to be exciting to see how he does. We see here as Zealot is actually going to be scanning out that third, and while Classic is trying to harass with Void Rays, and that's the thing, it's Void Rays in PvP, which is not something that you saw very often, even when they were this, as strong as they were before this patch. But now, of course, with the nerfs to that build time, it's a little bit strange to see them coming out from Classic, because they said, hey, this is what I want to do for my early game.
Well, the interesting thing, I think, is not that there is a single Void Ray. I mean, that is a solid defensive tool. It's not all that uncommon. The interesting thing is that we're going up to 3 Voids. Right? There was a style that we saw where players like Hellraiser in Europe would just go to infinite Void Rays, go Void Ray Immortal, maybe just have this army that you really stalkers they cannot even look at because they die. I don't know that that's what Classic exactly goes for, but I mean, he is setting himself up for it. On the meantime, though, Creator's gone pretty heavily greed off this single gate expand opening. Not only does he have Blink, not only is there third base on the way, but he got DTs as well. So it is not going to be that strong of an army for Crater right now looking to be defensive. So with the 3 voids, with the stalkers, this third base should not be allowed to stay alive. At least not for right now. At least for the moment, actually. Crater says, oh, yeah, okay, well, Classic says he's going to go put a little bit more pressure on, but there we go. Third base is going to get canceled. Blink is not done yet, so we have all of these timings here for Crater, but none of them have really paid for themselves just yet. So there we go. Target down the Cybercore. Means no more stalkers here, although Shield Battery Charge is a powerful thing. DTs, they run on in. There's no detection here, so the DTs will be able to kill all these stalkers. But Titan, I'm not afraid of the stalkers. I'm afraid of these Void Rays, especially as you cannot build any more stalkers.
Yeah, and you can just really tell that Crater was not expecting this attack to come through from Classic, and it is a bit weird of a timing, but really did work out well. So, oh, I love that blink forward from Crater. Does manage to snipe off one of the Void Rays. Will lose a Stalker for it, but all in all, that is a worthwhile trade resource-wise. Yeah, you can tell that just Crater wasn't expecting that kind of an attack. I think Classic gets plenty of damage done with it. The Cybernetics core going down, a few Stalkers picked off. Sure, you lose the 2 Void Rays, but that means that Classic is going to get his own third base up on time with his opponent, while he's also working on his own ground transition.
And that he will, of course, Crater does have, by not going for Stargate, by going really quick blink, or not even quick blink, by going a standard timed blink, he will have charge faster. He does have blink now. It gives him a lot more agency on the map after the third base was delayed. Because, hey, you know, 2 of the 3 Void Rays died. They're not really this strong marauding force anymore. So maybe we will be able to see Crater get a little bit more active. But for right now, there is no Warp Prism. His Robo is not yet done. So it's only 3 Stalkers, and sure, maybe some probe damage. But that is going to be just about that one. But look at this. He's drawing the army off a little bit. Maybe buying room for the DT. But there's an observer here. Crater saying, nope. Oh, run away. Run away.
Yeah, Crater gets on out of dodge, doesn't want to fight with that army. And it is an army that right now deals with what Crater has quite well. You have the detection to deal with the DTs, and then, ooh, lovely blinks there from Crater again. I love Crater's blink micro. I'm just going to say it. It is so, so good. But Classic's army, it fights really well against Blink Stalkers right now. You got Void Rays, you got Immortals, you're working on charge lots. Of course, Crater will have his charge done first because his Twilight Council was that much further ahead of his opponents. He's also going to have the robotic space. So it feels like these are the advantages that Crater is going to need to take advantage of if he wants to try and find any sort of, you know, pressure or an attack soon. Because really, you're not going to get a higher Immortal count, and you're not going to go Stargate. So you need to look for those disruptors and look for this charge lot kind of timing attack.
Now, oh, look at this. We got Blink DT already on the way. Crater getting set up for the late game. You know, I gotta say, Titan, I'm just really excited that we're seeing different tech. Mirrors are cool, but they're even, I find them far more exciting when it's not just, say, Roach versus Roaches, not just Blink Stalker versus Blink Stalker, not just the same thing versus the same thing. It's when we have separations in the tech path. When one player goes Charge Light Archon and one player goes Blink Stalker Disruptor, and you stay on that for a little bit. When it is Roach versus whatever it is. When players have different win conditions, that's when the game gets really interesting, because they're not just going for the same thing and vying for the same objective over and over and over again. Does allow for some funky games, but for now, DT Blink just about halfway done. +1 finishing up here for Crater as he gets ready to, well, to stabilize. He got his 4th base on the way. It's Glittering Ashes. You don't break a 3-base Protoss all that much. He's going to run on forward here, trying to maybe get a free Stalker, but charge. Oh, he's going to get a couple charge lots because they run far away, but no, they're going to back on up. Observer goes down. That didn't really work out for him all that well, did it?
No, not at all. As right now, Classic getting into a very, very heavy Archon count. Already has 3 on the way. Charge lots. Oh, DT's actually making their way into the main base, not even to the charge lots. As Crater is continuing to poke around with these Stalkers, trying to find out where Classic's army is positioned, and does a good job of doing so. As that DT Blink Shadow Stride is finished up, and, well, this main base is completely open, and that means that we might see probes and pylons go down, as there's quite a few Artosis pylons there in the main base. And here's the thing. You see Classic here. Does he want to go across the map? I don't know if he really can. Disruptors are there, so he just has to back on up. Recalls, and we'll be able to clean up the army, but still 10 probes going down is absolutely worthwhile for Crater.
Oh man, that was almost that was almost 3 more gateways being departed as well. Here's the Zealots. They're going to kill off the cannon as well. Nice little ring around the rosy, dropping everything off. But the big deal, the biggest point of that, it forced the entire army of Classic back home in a game state where Classic had this really killer army, right? He was up, I think he actually still is up 30 army supply, but a large portion of Classic's army was on the other side of the map. So by dragging Classic back, your creator buys himself a little bit more time to get more disruptors, to level up his tech, to maybe get +2 out, although that's not going to be relevant for this fight. But again, just to find other ways to make sure he is okay, because now Classic running on in. He has this massive army. Are the disruptor shots going to be what they need? First one going on, only one immortal. That's not great, but DTs, they're holding the line here. They're not making much happen. And now we see the Phoenix, the one Phoenix added on in. It does mean these disruptors, they're having a little bit harder of a time here, but the DTs, the defensive DTs, they're doing so much, and now we're going to start to see some disruptor shots go on up. The army of Classic just all of a sudden is evaporating. It's not going to be what you need. And Creator, he makes this one happen. Classic falls. Creator takes game 1.
And I kind of mentioned it as we saw the harassment going down for Creator, when we saw Classic have to recall the fact that you have disruptors as Creator. You're not worried about ending the game quickly. You have one of the best defensive tools that Protoss has, if not the best. You're really just trying to find damage of course, Creator's very confident in his macro right now. Again, you know you beat Trap in macro games. He knows that he's good. He's just waiting for Classic to come across the map because he knows that he just needs to get harassment damage done. And you pretty much force Classic into that position where either Classic says, all right, well, I'm going to try and just go into the late game, get my, go into, I would imagine, potentially carriers and air toss, and hope that Creator doesn't kill him during that transition, or try and end the game there.
Yeah, and you talk about air toss. Titan, I got a question for you. This is single gate expand versus single gate expand on Blackburn. Do we see Phoenix play this map?
It's hard to say, because it's definitely Phoenix play. I mean, if this was players like, actually, yeah. I was gonna say, if it's players like Zest and Classic, then yes, and Classic's in this game. Zest and Classic are both players who love the Stargate opening, even with, the fact that, oh, Void Rays aren't as good. Well, that doesn't really matter. You have a bunch of other units that you can use very, very well. And we even saw Classic still go for a Void Ray opener in this game, or in the previous game. So I would not be surprised at all if we do see Phoenix from Classic. On this map, it seems to be his go-to, is the Phoenix getting into quick Anion Pulse Crystals if it's Phoenix versus Phoenix, or just adding on a second Stargate if his opponent isn't matching him. And Classic's Phoenix control is honestly quite ridiculously good. I'm thinking back to a game which was Phoenix versus Phoenix, Classic versus Zest. Anion Pulse Crystals comes out for Classic, and even though he's down half the Phoenix of his opponent, manages to micro it out and win the fight to get the win in the game.
That he is, but you know what? We talk about maybe Phoenix play, maybe not. We don't get it. Nope. No wars, no who can get one more Phoenix or get the first shot, go into... No. We have diversion play. This thing that makes me very happy, and the thing that probably makes Creator very happy, because in this it means he doesn't get locked into he doesn't get dragged into the mud of Phoenix, where maybe his opponent is maybe just a little bit better. So for now, Twilight is on the way. We're gonna have to see how much damage this Oracle can get done. I'd love to see how many Adepts are running across the map. Because I think what we're gonna see here, oh no, that's the Oracle. Never mind. Oracle coming in from maybe a weird angle here, and it's gonna run into the net, but there are no shield batteries just yet. So yeah, Classic is going to find a little bit of value, but not as much as I would have expected. I think that was like one probe.
Yeah, a bit of missed micro there. The Stalker's zoning out the Oracle, and you only get a singular probe. A second Oracle has been produced, so Classic will have the option for one-shotting these probes eventually. But it's going to have to wait for that. Twilight Council finishing up now for Classic. The Blink for Creator, though, is already on the way. And so we're going to be seeing those Blink Stalkers. Again, Creator, so good at using Blink Stalkers in the mid-game to slow down his opponent, to find little bits of damage here and there without losing much of his own units. A unit that is very, very skilled with, but now we might see this Oracle backstab once again. Only 2 Stalkers here, and these one-taps can come through. There we go. It's 3 probes. The full health Oracle going to dive back on in for a few more, and that's more of the control that we were looking to see from Classic.
And because both players have the same setup, right? They're both single gate expand players. It does mean that Classic will find himself a bit of a worker lead, because, well, if Creator's not getting eco damage and Classic is, that's always going to be nice. But also, Blink is just about done here for Creator. It means he's going to be able to establish a third base on the gold if that's what he wants. Hey, you know what, gold? They say diamonds are someone's best friend, but I'd say gold is the Protoss best friend on this map. And it means he can get aggressive. It means he can start to put pressure on the map here with these Stalkers. At the time, where Classic says, yeah, I need to get out of the map. I need to knock this Stargate down. I need to enable myself to get out of my own base. We're gonna have to see just how good the stasis trap is gonna be. Does Creator, well, okay, well, that's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, traps a lot of those Stalkers, so actually gonna see Classic. Ooh, there we go, lose one of his own. But he's gonna be able to slow down this push from Creator quite a bit, which is very, very nice for Classic because he's waiting for his own blink, which should finish up by the time that this stasis ward does get over. That just means that this hold, which was going to be a little bit sketchy, is a whole lot cleaner than you would expect. As Oracle's going back in, and Creator's trying to break down the front, but he absolutely can't. 9, 10 probes going down. Sure, you lose both the Oracles, but that is a lot of damage that you got in return.
That it was. So now Creator, he's down 9 workers. I thought he was going to take his gold during that engagement, but he's only just getting it started now. He does have pressure on Classic side of them. Oh, no, Creator! Ah, bit of missed micro there, and now he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose 1. Looked like he might have lost a second, but I don't know whether this is Classic waking up. I don't know whether this is Creator needing a little bit more G Fuel to make sure that his micro is crisp and clean as G Fuel can possibly make it. But it's looking a little more sloppy this game. Losing 14 workers, losing Stalkers. I see missed micros onto the high ground. He's gonna have to make a comeback happen now. He's not in that nice spot he was in the previous.
Yeah, it's definitely not as comfortable as Creator would like. He's going to be getting his third base, or Classic is going to be getting his third base. Creator, again, as I said, has that gold though, which if it goes too long and he's able to get it up, can actually finally start to get him back into this game. That's just the power of the gold. And right now he's only behind about a worker. So even with all this considered, we're going to see this probe transfer for Creator. He's going to get a massive boost in his income. And with Charge on the way, with a Forge, with now producing Immortals, you know, that could make a massive difference here for Creator as we're going to see a recall for Classic. And Yellow Protoss doesn't want to commit into the main any further, just gets on out.
You gotta pile on. That's something. Actually, the big deal is he forced the recall. That's energy on the Nexus. That is a cooldown that maybe Creator can look to exploit later. I'm kind of somewhat surprised we didn't see him just rotate back into the main base once again now that he sees the army of Classic down at the front, but that is not going to happen. Instead, he says, yeah, I'm going to run on home here. As that is a interesting spot to warp in some Stalkers. I guess, yeah, it's just going to go try to punish the gold base. And yeah, Creator, he's kind of equal on economy once again. In fact, he's ahead because he does have a gold. But we are starting to see a little bit of an army supply advantage here for Classic again because he's just had money earlier. He didn't take that economic value, and now the Stalkers of Creator on the high ground looking to contest here. They hate to blink forward. Warp Prism goes down, but no, that's not what you want here, Creator. Look at the force field of Stalkers. They're knocking down so damn many. Classic blink on in. Once again, he says one Immortal goes down. Second one here as well. I'm going to try to break you right here, right now. But that second blink, maybe not the best. Immortal dies, sure. But he loses a lot of Stalkers in the exchange, and Creator does have Defender's advantage because the Warp Prism is dead.
Yeah, it was a really aggressive blink forward there from Creator. The whole army available for Classic, and I actually don't think Creator took as much damage as I even thought he would. It felt like he would lose so much more than he did, but the Immortals coming into support, able to knock down a lot of the health on Classic Stalkers, but Creator, once again, being just pushed a little bit further behind, is working on his 1-1 though, and once you get that +1, or just the +1 ground weapons, once you get that upgrade coming through, this game does start to look a lot more different because you're going to have the Immortals doing a whole lot more damage. You're going to have your Stalkers as well, where the upgrade really matters, doing that additional damage to armored units.
Yeah, Titan, we don't have Charge for Creator, right? He skipped that?
Oh.
I believe so. Which means that yeah.
I thought he had it on the way at one point, but yeah, it does look like he doesn't have Charge right now.
It was either done much earlier because it was a quicker blink too, or he doesn't have it. I don't know. I don't see any Zealots on the map to confirm or no, he does have Charge. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he does have Charge. There we go. We got Zealots. We see him as speedy boys, but as you said, +1 versus +0. it's kind of a weird upgrade in PvP, and sometimes it seems to make a world of a difference, and sometimes it seems to really not make a difference at all because Blink is a thing. But for now, we're going to have to see whether Creator can start to worm his way back into this game. He did not die from that previous push, from that previous Blink, which was pretty impressive. But now as the Archons look to join in this fight, 3 Immortals as well, it's going to be really hard here, but now the Zealots moving on in. Shield batteries, and well, not even shield batteries, Guardian Shields on the left side. Immortals proven a nice fire base, but there are no Stalkers here just yet, and there are Archon versus no Archons, so the Zealots not really doing all that much, but again, it is +1 versus +0. We're going to start to see the Archons. They're starting to fall here. Nice Blink Micro on the Warp Prism to keep these Immortals alive right now. Stalkers playing on forward. I think he got an Immortal as well. There was something that Warp Prism, and something is going to be a victory. Classic ties it up, folks. We're going to game 3. All right, Titan. I need you to put on your Nostradamus hat. What happens in this game?
All right. Let's see. So 2,000 atmospheres, of course, seeing the double gas. So we should see double gateway, cybernetics core from both players. And BeoMulf, I'm going to say something crazy here.
Oh no.
I think Classic goes for a Stargate.
That would be a rather classic move, would it not?
I think so. It's a bit of a reach, but I think that's what he's going to go for. Stargate potentially into an Oracle and then maybe Void Rays. As for Creator, I really don't think these players switch anything up. They've both managed to win a game with just their standard styles. Creator taking that game 1, Classic with game 2. Neither of them changed anything between those 2 games. And I think that's because they do respect the other player's ability to defend any cheese or aggressive plays, but also because it's the decider match. You don't want to risk doing something super aggressive because that puts a lot of the onus on your opponent with their defense.
That is true. And again, as you say this, I think you're right. Both players are pretty confident in their ability to play this matchup and really every other. So why risk it? Why go for 1 base DT off of 10 probes? Because you actually start with 12. That's the answer to that question. But why go for something crazy when you say, look, I kind of lost the 1 game I lost because I got a little sloppy. Because the Oracle flew in and I didn't have Stalkers prepared because I kind of forgot. I thought I could go kill it. And we're looking at
a floating shark.
The Eye of Horus.
Yeah. So I really doubt that anything's going to change much between these these games. Looks like both players are going to look for that quicker Nexus onto the low ground before their attack. Classic does just get him his up, 5 seconds ahead of time. That's going to make the world of difference. Obviously, that's going to be enough to change this game when we look back in the history books of the most important decisions. That Nexus timing.
Exactly. Well, for now, Classic, Mr. Nostradamus, you were wrong. You didn't inhale the fumes of the crack in the earth at the Oracle well enough. It is going to be a Twilight opener from Classic. And actually, the interesting thing here is we actually haven't seen any tech from a Creator whatsoever. No Stargate, no Twilight. He's just showing us some pretty defensive play. Twilight's coming out now, but he says, look, I'm going to spend some extra gas here early. I'm going to get a lot of sentries, and I'm going to be rather defensive, right? Yeah, he's on 3 sentries.
Yeah. It does mean that there's a significant delay in his Twilight Council. And you see Classics is already done. Blink is on the way, so we have Classic kind of taking a page out of what Creator has been doing for these past 2 games, getting that Blink ready to go. And that means no Stargate play in this game, which is kind of nice when you don't see the Stargate units because you always kind of know how it's going to play out with them. If an Oracle comes out first, okay, you're going 2 Oracles, and then ground play. I think Classic did mix it up in game 1 with the Void Ray push, but still very similar as Creator. That's a Dark Shrine. Bale, you said that you're not going to risk going for a Dark Shrine, in a high stakes match, but obviously Creator says that you're very wrong. Why would you not?
No, Titan. I said he's not going to go for a 10 probe Dark Shrine.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
See, I was never going to be wrong on that. I was never going to be wrong on that one.
This is a 33 probe Dark Shrine. That's the difference.
Yeah, I'm okay with that one. It's not natural. You have room for other things. But yeah, I mean, we saw in the previous series Creator played, he went for DTs in a game against Clem where he was pretty far behind. It didn't work. We saw him win a game with DTs, kind of, but that was a base trade, and that's a totally different story. We're going to have to see whether Classic can punish this, because this is super binary. On the one hand, well, You have DTs, they're great. On the other hand, Classic has actually gotten a robo in this game. This is not your Twilight only. You really delay the robo. Classic is aware of this opportunity, and now he's massing up a ton of Stalkers here to move on in. Stalkers now they're going to blink on forward, looking to kneecap Creator before he is ready. And yeah, I mean, 3 Sentries, they don't add any damage here. Sure, look at this though. Creator on the backside is going to try to cut the army off at the pass, but it's only 3 Stalkers. There is more where that came from. So the question though is whether these DTs will be able to find the value that they're looking for, as Classic is perhaps distracted. Perhaps not where he needs to be as he blinks on in, trying to knock down this pylon. He will be successful, so depowering that there. We're going to have a recall on this army, though, and that is it.
And
G Classic? Okay.